This is the OnePlus 12R, a new flagship-killing phone from OnePlus. These R-series phones were only sold in India in the past, but this one has gone global. How competitive is it? I'm Will for GSM Arena, and let's find out on our OnePlus 12R review. The 12R is a notch below the flagship OnePlus 12. The cameras are stripped down, and you get last year's flagship chipset instead of the latest one. Still, that's enough for high-end gaming performance. Plus, you get a premium display, a large battery, and fast charging too. The OnePlus 12R adopts the same design language as other recent OnePlus phones. The most noticeable stylistic element is the round camera bump, which melds into a wraparound piece of the aluminum frame. The back of the phone seems to be made of glass, and in this glossy colorway, the phone is easy to smudge. The 12R has an alert slider on the side. It's a signature feature of OnePlus phones. And the phone has IP65 rated ingress protection, which means it can resist splashes or even jets of water, but you should avoid full submersion. The display of the OnePlus 12R is a curved 6.78-inch LTPO OLED with a 120Hz refresh rate, Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection, and a high resolution. This resolution comes out to 450 ppi. Not quite as sharp as the QHD on the flagship OnePlus 12, but still great. The panel also supports 10-bit color depth, HDR10 Plus video, and Dolby Vision. And like on the OnePlus 12, there's also support for HDR and photos in the gallery. The screen's brightness is excellent too. We measured over 800 nits when adjusting the slider manually, and that can boost to around 1200 nits in adaptive mode in bright conditions. And thanks to LTPO tech, the display is extra adaptive. It can dial down from 120Hz to as low as 1Hz when idling to save energy. The 12R is capable of high frame rate gaming too. For audio, the phone has a pair of stereo speakers. They have very good loudness, with clean sound, though the low-end presence leaves a bit more to be desired. You can wake up and unlock the OnePlus 12R with an optical under-display fingerprint reader. It works pretty reliably. And you can get the OnePlus 12R with 128 or 256 gigs of onboard storage, but the 128 gig version is UFS 3.1 rather than the faster UFS 4.0. The interface of the OnePlus 12R is Android 14 with Oxygen OS 14 on top. This UI is the same as you'd get on an Oppo or a Realme phone, since they all come from the same manufacturer. There are a couple of cosmetic changes on the OnePlus version though, like some specific clock faces. Since this phone has an IR blaster, you can use it as a remote to control other devices with. And as far as software support goes, the OnePlus 12R is promised 3 OS upgrades and 4 years of security patches. If you want to find out more about the specific features of Oxygen OS, we have a dedicated video in the works. I'll link it here when it's up. Like I mentioned briefly before, the OnePlus 12R comes with last year's flagship chipset, a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Flagships nowadays, including the OnePlus 12, are coming out with the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. So the OnePlus 12R does fall behind in benchmarks compared to phones packing the latest high-end silicon, and you don't get the advanced ray tracing for games here. Still, it packs the same punch as a 2023 flagship, and there's more than enough power here for heavy gaming, multitasking, and a smooth overall experience. Plus, the thermal management is pretty decent here. While we did see some thermal throttling during our prolonged stress tests, it wasn't extreme. The OnePlus 12R is equipped with a 5500 mAh battery, and the battery life is class-leading. The phone earned an active use score of 14 hours and 32 minutes, a bit higher than what the OnePlus 12 achieved. The 12R ships with a SuperVOOC adapter that's rated for 100 watts when plugged into a 220-volt outlet, or 80 watts if you're in 110-volt territory. It's super fast, able to charge the battery from 0 to 70% in 15 minutes. A full charge took just 25 minutes. There is no wireless charging on the OnePlus 12R though, which you do find on many rivals. Now we have the cameras. The setup is what you'd find on your typical mid-range phone. A 50-megapixel main cam, an 8-megapixel ultrawide, and a 2-megapixel macro camera. The 12R's main camera captures great-looking daytime photos. Detail is excellent and has a nicely natural look to it. Contrast is high, dynamic range is very good, and we can't complain about the color rendition either. We shot a few of the scenes side by side with the OnePlus 12, and the 12R's output is in most cases so similar that we'd be hard-pressed to tell them apart. The 12R doesn't have a telephoto camera, but here's a look at its 2x digital zoom. The photos are acceptable, but the detail is smeared, while sharpening is dialed way too high. In low light, the OnePlus 12R will automatically apply night mode processing to its photos. The results are great, with nice exposures and wide dynamic range, with good development in both shadows and highlights. Detail is great, and noise is a non-issue. The colors and auto white balance are good too. Comparisons against the OnePlus 12 left us a bit confused. The 12R not only keeps up with the 12, but in some scenes we're actually seeing some better definition from the less expensive phone. The OnePlus 12R's main cam can record video in up to 4K at 60 FPS. The quality is okay, but not really great, strictly speaking. The videos are a little overexposed, and dynamic range isn't the widest. Detail is still pretty good, and there's no noise. The electronic video stabilization isn't as great on the 12R as it is on the OnePlus 12. There's still some leftover wobble while walking, and occasional focus hunting. Low light video quality from the main cam is actually solid. The exposure is well judged, dynamic range is reasonably wide, and colors are accurate and well saturated. Detail can be a little sketchy in the shadows, but it's not too bad overall. The 8-megapixel ultra-wide cam produces photos with enough detail, low noise, and decent dynamic range. The colors are well matched to the main cams too. At night, with the auto night mode kicking in, the ultra-wide is able to capture a decent level of detail, and the dynamic range and colors are good. When it comes to video recording, the ultra-wide cam is limited to 1080p, and the quality isn't great. And here's a look at some close-ups from the 2-megapixel macro camera. As you'd expect, it's nothing special. Finally, we have selfies from the 16-megapixel front-facing cam. They have okay dynamic range and colors, but the detail level leaves more to be desired. There you have it, the OnePlus 12R. You get quite a lot here: an excellent display, class-leading battery life and super fast charging, a high-end chipset, and great photos from the main cam. You are missing a telephoto camera here, and the quality of video recording and selfies aren't anything to get excited about. There's no wireless charging, and competitors can offer better water resistance. But if those don't bother you, the OnePlus 12R could be a great choice worth looking into. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're looking for alternatives to the OnePlus 12R, you can check out our reviews of the Samsung Galaxy S23 FE, as well as the Xiaomi 13T Pro. Let us know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.